Alright everybody, it's been a few days later and I'm back out here gonna work on the 1570. The other day I was here and I got my weights all buttoned up. There's 10 of them going across here, and got a piece of all thread through the center of it here. And I also found a lockdown bolt and hardware to be able to get this thing locked down onto the tractor itself. And I also was working at some wiring inside the cab, and I figured out that they had things wired wrong, hence why I had flashers when I had supposed to be having anyways. The field lights, I had the flashers going too, which it's only supposed to be working on one setting. So anyways, I got all that figured out. And today I'm gonna try to work on getting the top cleaned up. The cover anyways, it's sitting outside, and gonna verify whether I have a charging alternator or not, whether it's charging batteries or not. I have a sneaking suspicion that it is not. So we'll take a look at that here today. Also need to work on buttoning up everything as far as in the top. I'd like to get everything kind of squared away to where I know it won't rub or whatever and arc out or start a fire or anything of that sort. So depending on what we get to today, I should be able to get things to where I'm getting ready for primer anyways. I hope to be able to get to that point today. There's a few things that I'd like to get buttoned up before that. I would like to verify that there's only a bad power going up to the top side of the cab to be able to run a blower, because that would be very handy. So yeah, I don't know exactly where all this is gonna go, so let's get started for today. I just now remembered what else I need to work on. I need to work on this door today, and I would like to get that squared up to where I can be able to get some gussets in and make sure that this thing ain't gonna go anywhere. This thing has been worked over several times by a couple of mud dauber welders. They just mud daubered on. I also need to see if this is actually in the same place that it should be. It's been mud daubered on there, so I'm gonna probably cut that off and then verify that it's going in a better angle than what it is right now. I think it's a little bit too high. I think it needs to be down just a little bit more, this piece anyways. Gotta get this all cleaned up to where I can be able to weld better and be able to get some gussets in there. This thing has been abused as far as the door. Need to work on the cracking on the outside of the door, both at the front and the back. Of course, I will be sticking some paint on there. It will look kind of tacky because it is going to be reworked, but I want to keep it from rusting anyways. So I'm going to try to work on that also today, besides everything else. So. Well, as you can see, I got the door better than what it was by tack welding things back where they're kind of true. I was trying to get the door to work back and forth better because it was a little bit stiff, and I got it lifted up just a little bit, and obviously the top hinge is broke or twisted off because it's not twisting where it needs to be for whatever reason. It kind of surprises me that the hinges on this door are bad, but I cannot get it lifted up by myself. So my best friend Zach is coming over to help me this evening, and we'll try to get this door off. For now, since I get into the cab now, I'm going to work at trying to get the top cleaned up better than what it was. And I will grab my top piece cover outside and start working on it. So that's what I'm gonna do now. All right, here's my top cover for the cab. I'm gonna try to get everything stripped off of it, rust and paint and everything. So I'll work at that right now. been a few days here and I have let the primer dry on things. There's some dark spots on here because of a gray primer underneath. This side is gray primer, period. On the tractor top, I have white primer. That's what I had. So anyways, I'm gonna try to get some white paint on things today because Thursday here we are going to be trying to do some beans. I'm talking about me and my best friend Zach. He's got beans, so we're gonna put this tractor on the grain cart that he has because I want to see what this tractor will kind of do, because we don't have anything heavy enough to really drag around. So I don't know exactly what kind of shape the transmission is in, so that would be kind of a good test to be able to figure out what's going on. We figured out that the alternator is not charging, so I have it off with our local starter and alternator shop, so they're taking a look at it. Hopefully I'll hear back soon on that. So anyways, I'm gonna get to work today and get some paint slapped on things and then try to work on my door. So I'm gonna put it on time lapse because you don't need to see me putting layers of paint on. So anyways, without further ado, I'm gonna get to work. Alrighty, I got 2 coats on everything here at this point. Everything's looking pretty good. Everything looks nice and shiny right now because this is wet. I got done with the top up there. I was, in the meantime, which I should have been grabbing a camera, I bought some 3/8 rod to redo hinges on our doors or windows, whichever we ever have to do so. But I went ahead and replaced both of mine because we had to heat up the bottom one and bend it all around, and the top one was already broke off, so I was gonna need to do something there. So anyways, I worked on those. I got those welded in, and they should be ready to go. I'm going to tape off some things here, and well, first I'm gonna wire brush and get some of this all off, and then I'm gonna tape it all off, and then I'm going to paint the hinges anyways, without the pins anyways. And I'm going to make that look a little more presentable, especially on the tractor side, where we used heat on both sides of things. I'm gonna clean that up and get it painted and looking better, so then paint is drying and I am not in so much of a crunch there. I'm gonna let my top dry overnight at least, and then I'll flip it around and paint the other side. I'm going to grab 20 washers and 20 bolts, and I'm going to paint the tops of those so then they kind of match, but they're not gonna look perfect because by the time I put a wrench on things, it will not be correct anymore. It'll scratch everything off. So I may not do that, and I may just hit it afterwards when I get them all on. But it depends on time. I may just skip that at this point and move on. So anyways, I'm going to get things more cleaned up. I still need to make gussets for the door, and I have those all mapped out of what I need. I just need to cut the metal and then get those tests fitted in there, get things ground down and whatnot. So here is my front one gusset that I'm going to be cutting out, and then here's the rear. I wish I could have used the same as what my dad's is, but it's a different size door with a 1070, so they weren't gonna work just right anyways. Plus we couldn't even find them. Another thing that I did the other night is I used the last of my Power Red, and I went ahead and painted the weights. I know it's just cosmetic, but I just used what was left on there. I went ahead and painted the faces of the lug nuts here too. I need to do the other side yet, but I am out of paint, and this tire is kind of low. I need to get it off and get it down to our local co-op and get it figured out as to why it is leaking. That is the tire that was on the tractor already when we got a hold of this thing, so Alright, it's the next day here, and I had the GoPro die on me, and I did not have another battery. I had 2 good coats on top of the cab, and then 2 good coats on the bottom side of the cover. I have this flipped around, and I'm going to try to get 2 good coats on here. I also worked on my door. I got the hinges done. I got the pins for the hinges done. They looked very good. I am not the greatest welder, but they are done. And I got some paint stuck on things. Alright, I got a few coats of paint on my top cover. I'm going to just let it be now and let it dry. And I'm going to attempt to put my door on. I don't know how successful I will be, but I'm got grease in the holes. We figured that that would be the best bet of making sure everything was still going to stay lubed and try to keep some moisture out of things. So anyways, I went ahead and did that on the pins and on the holes on the door, and now I'm going to try to put it on. We'll see how it goes. There we go. All right, it is in for now. Well, that's interesting. There we go. Oh, yes. She's in there, and I only have one little scrape, so I will touch that up with my spray paint, and that is it for now with the door, other than putting the closer back on. So I will do that, and we'll move on. All right, here's the end of the video. We did not get everything recorded towards the last there. My best friend Zach come out on Thursday, and we got everything buttoned up. I did help him get started harvesting on Wednesday. I didn't take my cameras along then, but anyways, the next video you'll see a lot of the tractor going and everything. Be sure to check that one out when it does come out, which will be the next video, as I said. So anyways, as you can tell, I'm not in my usual spot in the shop or anything like that. We are actually in Iowa seeing family. So as for me, as my wife's side of the family. So anyways, with that, I just want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And with the new year coming, new things coming, I'm sure. Not much planned in the pipeline at this point, but we'll see what 23 holds. But if you have been supporting us all this time, especially in this past year, thank you. And if you've joined us in the past year, thank you so much for showing your support as well. And if you're new here, consider subscribing and give the video a thumbs up if you like this sort of content. And we'll see y'all in the next one.